Hello, and welcome to Fusion Writing, where building character meets creating structure. This is our Zettelkasten week, and this is our map day, where we go into some more detail about how to interact with your Zettelkasten for the material that we've been covering this month. Victoria, what will you share with us today?
Well, I thought I would open up my brain and let you take a little peek inside and show you how I work out how I'm going to file something, especially if it's something that is related to literary theory or criticism or all of that structural stuff that we like to talk so much about. So, as you know, this week, this session, we've been talking about narrative distance. And if you're reading my newsletters or you've looked through my book, you know that narrative distance for me has always fallen under literary theory. So if I were to grab my trusty index, which you know I depart from Scott Shepherd's system in that my index is in a binder with alphabetized tabs rather than alphabetized index cards. So what I would do, first of all, is I would go to my N tab. You can see I've got lots of juicy stuff going on under the N letter. And first I would make an entry under narrative distance because that's what we're talking about. Then I might also make an entry under narrative theory because again, those things are interrelated, and whatever term I'm going to think about to go find things on narrative distance, I want to make sure that that keyword term is in my index. So if I think L for literary theory or I think N for narrative distance, I'm going to have those entries there. So whatever I think of, it's already captured and it will send me to that card address. A third one, narrative devices. Now that's also an N word. So you don't want to saturate a letter with every possible iteration, but certainly capture all of the keywords that might send you back to whatever that thing is that you're looking for. Because if you're anything like me, my memory is kind of Swiss cheesy, and I don't always think to look at multiple iterations of a topic. However, if I've been smart with my keywords, I will always come up with an idea for how to search for something that resonates with something I've already done, like literary theory. I'm going to go to L and start there. So then it begs the question, how do I number these things? Well, in my environment, Kathleen's snappy tracker notwithstanding, because she's going to talk specifically about that, but in my environment, you have a couple of options. If you're navigating your filing using my book, you know that my book in my Zettelkasten is 1150. And so all of the note card examples that I give you in my book are 1150. However, if you're looking at my newsletter, you know that my newsletter also falls under the 1000s, and then O1 is issue 1, O2 is issue 2, and so forth. So depending on which of my systems that you like, you have a couple of options based on my suggestions. And then, of course, there's the third option, which is the wildcard option, and that is the most important one. Your notebox is your notebox. And so never feel beholden to someone who says to you, oh, you need to file this here, or this needs to be that address. Take that stuff with a grain of salt, because again, at the end of the day, it has to be governed by what makes sense to you. So if my numbers don't make sense, simply make up your own and put that stuff where you know that you'll find it. My last tip on filing your note cards and your information is something that one Miss Spracklen pointed out to me very early on when I was kind of struggling with how to get all this stuff filed and sorted. And it's the issue of geography. It never occurred to me to think in terms of how near or far do you want things to be? Maybe you want literary theory and narrative devices and structural items to be all close together. So maybe those are going to be 1001, 1002, 1003, and then subcards underneath because you want those things to be close. Alternatively, maybe you want to have plenty of room in between those cards. So one gets a 1000, one gets 2000, and one gets a 3000. You got plenty of real estate in between. So that's my final tip is think in terms of how far apart do you want things and how much space do you need to grow in between. And that's going to help govern how you divide those things up in your notebox numbers. So That's all I've got for you this week, Kathleen.
Okay. Oh, thank you so much, Victoria. I love what you were talking about, the wild card, because I echo that as well. It's your Zettelkasten. You need to put it in a way that makes sense to you. So I'm going to share with you the categories that numbers that I have happened to use, but again, it's totally up to you. My categories put character traits close to one another based on their groups. And we have been working very, very hard on the empathy group. And all of my empathy group characters start with 525. They all come under 5250. And I've got all of the characters down. I ran out of numbers long ago and ended up with A, B, C, D to end up using letters of the alphabet so that I could stick to four printable digits and still have a category for each of 13 empathy traits, more than any other group. And so here we are in the character trait of gratitude, which is 5258. And that just is in between sincerity and generosity, and that kind of makes a little bit of sense. They're pretty closely related in meaning. So what does it mean to have a category like that? For me, it means that you probably have a divider with either 5250 on it, or maybe that exact number, 5251. In my Zettelkasten, each of those numbers has its own divider card. And it just gives me a place I can just look up by that number, grab my cheat sheet, grab the number, and I know where to go for the cards. Okay, you know where you're going to put them. What are you going to put on them? A little bit more important than what you're going to put, where you're going to put them. Why are you going to create those cards? Well, you're going to create those cards to capture what you've learned about gratitude and how gratitude functions in the stories that you're writing. Where does it show up? What does it mean? Luckily, this month we've had the character trait of gratitude, which is so much like what we mean in general when we say gratitude, that it's been a really easy one. But some of those character traits we've had to say, well, we use this term, but it kind of means something a little different. But what does it mean to your characters? How does it show up in your stories? If you wanted to do a show, not tell, what would your reader see? What would your reader hear? How would they know that was gratitude? You might put some of those hints down. What about the character profile diagram? It has all of these different positions from pinnacle to wing to rudder to anchor to base. What makes it different in each of those positions? You could think it through for examples. All right, so now you have all of these, all of those cards can go under 5259. And you can, if you like slashes, you could do /1 2 3 4 5, just number them very simply. Some people like dots, 5259 dot, 1 2 3 4 5, just number them. Or you could make a fancy system under there if you want to, where you break them up into groups like, oh, this is the character profile diagram. Oh, this is the meaning. You get to choose all that. Just a few cards, you don't need to break it up too much. But there's another good use for that number. What else might we want to use our 5258 for? And that has to do with your experience collections. You know that Victoria has us create those experience cards that go in the experience pool. They're all together. All of our experience cards are in that pool, which is where you want them, because when you want an experience to use in your story, you're going to go through that pool. Well, what if that experience, when you're writing that down, you're saying, oh, that's about generosity. I recognize that character trait. Well, jot down in the lower right corner or the lower left corner, wherever, put down that 5258 and remind yourself 5258 generosity, because that will tell you, oh, I've got more notes on that. I'll know where to go to get some more notes, and it'll cross-reference right there for you, right in your Zettelkasten. And it also is a very good reminder when you're creating all of those experience cards. So the weather has turned really warm now. So maybe you were in an ice cream store and you see a little kid looking at the ice cream and he can't make up his mind between chocolate and cherry. Chocolate and cherry. Oh, and he's struggling so hard to make chocolate and cherry. And he sees the person behind the thing scooping a chocolate and scooping a cherry. and surprising him with a double dip cone, one of each. Oh, thank you so much. You see the little kid being so grateful. Both. And you capture that in your card. Write down that that was gratitude because you never can tell when you're in the middle of a story and you want to express that gratitude happened, or you want to inspire your character to feel gratitude. Maybe I'll have a flashback to a memory of an experience like that and be able to reach to gratitude. So all of the power of those experience collection cards that we do can come back to help you with your story writing in. Take the time to make that link. Victoria, what do you have to add?
We've done it once again. The power of thinking through not only your keywords, but harvesting the ideas that you're capturing, like in your experience collection, which is super fantastic, and then reminding yourself of where else you can go to either find more information or to find relevant information. That is when the Zettelkasten becomes your superpower. And that's not overstating it. That is not an exaggeration. Because number one, everything you put in that note box has relevance to you because you picked it. And number two, you will always find something exciting or motivating or something that sparks curiosity again because you put everything in there. So if you simply remember and do what Kathleen says and make that cross-reference note to a character trait or to any other segment that an idea could apply to, that's when it becomes your communication partner and you're rolling down the road. Trust me, I have done it more times than I can count. It works. So that's our Zettelkasten week. If people wanted to ask questions or find us on Zettelkasten related items, where might they go?
You'd come to LiLLiPub.org. LiLLiPub.org is where we hang out when we're not here in YouTube land. Wow, we've got some great groups, including a whole group on Zettelkasten, a whole group on character traits, and boy, Victoria has a whole group on experience collections. That is so powerful. You'll even find them in the library. People love them so much, they share them with everybody. The library is a fantastic hangout space there. We share what's going on in our lives and in our writing. People share experiences that aren't even on their cards. So come on over to LiLLiPub.org. It's the best home for writers that you could possibly find. See you over there. Bye bye.